Yo, what is up guys? It is G with EastSideMiniMobberz, and in this video, I'm going to show you guys how to completely wash and detail your mini bike. So let's get straight into the video. And check it out, you guys may recognize this bike from a few of my past videos. This was actually the first mini bike that was ever on the EastSideMiniMobberz YouTube channel. There's a lot of history with this bike, and this bike goes way back. If you want to see all the videos on this mini bike, go ahead and click in the top right, and it'll take you to a playlist to see all the videos and all the upgrade videos that we have done on this bike. But it has since been sold and has been sold to the new owner, and the new owner actually brought the bike back to me as he would like to get some work done. He'd like to get a tune-up, an oil change, and most importantly, some dirt tires installed. You can see this thing is pretty dusty and pretty dirty from ripping down some dirt trails with these street tires, so he would like to upgrade to some off-road tires. But I don't know about you guys, I cannot work on a bike that is dirty. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and get this thing cleaned up. So I'm going to show you guys some do's and don'ts and some tips and tricks when detailing and washing a mini bike. So with all that being said, let's get into the video. Now, before we get to washing, some areas that I would avoid on the mini bike that you don't want to deliberately spray water into is your carburetor. I would definitely recommend putting some sort of glove or bag over your air filter, as you do not want that to get wet. Better yet, you can actually take it off and completely block the opening of your carburetor, so it ensures that no water or any debris or anything like that goes inside. You definitely don't want water getting into your engine. Another area that I would stay clear from is your gas tank. Usually these gaskets on these gas caps are pretty good and it doesn't allow water into the tank, but there's always that one chance that your gas cap may be faulty and it may allow some water in your gas tank. You definitely don't want water getting in your gas tank, so that's another area that I would avoid. One last area I would avoid is deliberately spraying water into your exhaust. You definitely don't want to fill the combustion chamber with water. Another thing to mention, if your engine is completely stock, you really shouldn't have to worry about too much because they have big plastic bulky air filters on there that are super restrictive, so it's very unlikely that water would get inside the engine. But if you do have a setup like this with a Mikuni carburetor that has an aftermarket air filter and aftermarket vent breathers, I would definitely recommend staying away from any sort of breathers or any sort of openings or anything like that with an aftermarket setup like this. You just don't want to force water into areas it shouldn't be. But other than that, these things are outdoor toys and are meant to be sprayed down. So with all that being said, let's get to the first step that I always like to do before spraying it with water. And the first thing I like to do before spraying this with water is getting all the dust off and spraying it down with some compressed air. I like to start off with blowing the bike off with compressed air because it gets all the loose dirt and excess dust off the bike first. And now that all the loose dust has been blown off, it's time to get this thing sprayed down and scrubbed up. And there's two ways we can get this thing sprayed down, so let's check them out. Now, the first method is your basic hose spray nozzle and hose foam cannon attachment. This setup works pretty good to get the bike washed, and you can see the foam cannon works pretty good as well, although the foam that comes out of the foam cannon is very, very watery, and you can see it's a very tight, narrow beam. It doesn't really spread the foam on the bike very well. And our next option is the pressure washer method. This is going to give a very, very good clean. It has a high pressure that comes out of the nozzle, which is going to blast off any sort of dirt, mud, and grime. And check out that foam cannon. It gives a nice layer of thick foam and evenly spreads it all around the bike. You guys can use whatever option you like, but since I have a pressure washer, I'm going to go with the pressure washer option. And here are the products and the brushes I'm going to be using. I'm going to be using a degreaser on the chain along with a plastic brush to get the chain nice and clean, get all that old oil and grease off and all the dust off of it. I'm going to be using a wheel cleaner on the rims and tires to get those nice and cleaned up, along with some big brushes there. And these smaller ones will be for the tight little intricate areas that these big brushes can't get into. So with that being said, let's get this bike all cleaned up. Alrighty, I'm going to start by cleaning the very dirty parts first. So we're going to go ahead and start with the wheels. Spray my wheel cleaner on there. Get my brush, get in the wheel real good. Get all the dirt and dust out of here. Go ahead and spray that off. Let's do the back wheel. Now let's go ahead and clean and degrease the chain. We're gonna go ahead and just spray this down. Now we'll spray our degreaser on the chain, get it nice and soaked. Then we'll give it a nice scrub with our plastic bristle brush. Get the other side too, so all the old grease and debris can come off. And now we'll spray it all off. And now we'll spray down the rest of the bike. And now we can go ahead and foam up the bike. And now I'm just going to scrub it down with my brush here. Anything that this brush can't get, I'll go ahead and go back over it with the smaller one. And now we can spray it down to rinse all the soap off. And just like that, it's all rinsed off. If anyone's wondering what type of soap I use a pH neutral car wash soap. This stuff works perfect for mini bikes. Now is time to dry this. One tip that I like to do while we have our compressed air out, I like to give this a last final little blow. What it does is it gets majority of the water off, but all the little water that's in the little crevices that we're not going to be able to sop up with our towel, it'll blow it straight out. So let's get this thing blowed off. And now I'm going to finish drying this thing with a yellow towel, and we're going to spray a little bit of detail spray on there just so it gives it a nice shine. And since we're all done washing it, don't forget to take your glove or your bag or whatever you use off your air filter. And check that out, nice and dry. And check this thing out. It is all nice and cleaned up. The last finishing touches I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go and clean and condition the leather seat, and I'm gonna dress the tires. Alrighty, so now I'm gonna go ahead and clean and condition and protect my leather seat. This is the product I'm going to be using. This is going to be perfect to clean and protect and kind of rejuvenate that leather. Make sure it's protected from the elements and stuff like that. When you are going with a cleaner, make sure it's one that leaves a nice matte finish and it doesn't leave it, you know, sticky or slippery or anything like that. The last thing you want is to be riding this and to be sliding all around the seat. Could lead to a crash or an injury. So definitely want to get something that doesn't make the seat slippery. Go ahead and spray a little bit on there. And just like that, you can see it's a nice matte finish. It's not sticky or slippery or anything like that, and that'll protect the leather and keep it good for a good long time. Alrighty, and now I'm going to go ahead and dress the tires. Now, I'd probably recommend to not do this. I'm just doing it for the video purpose, and these tires are going to get replaced anyways, but I am going to be throwing some dressing on these tires to make them look nice and new. When I am doing this though, I am just going to do the sidewall. I'm going to take precautions to not get any sort of dressing on the tread whatsoever. You do not want to get tire dressing on the treads. When you're going around the corner and you're leaning, you know, the tire will contact the road and the dressing might make the tire want to slip or skid out on you. So I highly recommend just doing it on the sidewalls or not doing it at all. Like I said, I'm doing it for video purposes. Do not get any sort of dressing on the tread as it can become very dangerous and slippery. Alrighty, let's get some shine on here. Wipe off the excess with our rag. And now that it is all finished and cleaned up, one last thing is I'm going to go ahead and re-lubricate my chain. Since we fully cleaned and degreased it, I'm going to go ahead and throw some new chain lube on there. Now I'm going to go ahead and re-lubricate the chain with our chain lube here. It doesn't take much, just one quick pass while we're spinning the wheel, and then we'll wipe the excess off with our paper towel. And just like that, we are done. This thing is all nice and cleaned up. I think it's time for a little montage. Let's go. And the video results speak for themselves. This thing is all cleaned up, looking real good. Man, it's ready for a show or something. But I hope this video helped you guys. I hope it showed you how to fully clean and detail a mini bike, some tips and tricks, and the do's and don'ts. If this video was helpful, make sure you guys like and subscribe, and you stay tuned as you do not want to miss the new upcoming mini bike videos we got planned. Peace.